It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your latest forecast update for the whole state. And we've got just a very calm day, warm, but very calm day across the state here. You see just scattered cumulus clouds that have been moving across from north to south over the course of the day. Had a few showers up in the northeastern corner of the state and a few kind of on the far southeastern corner of the state earlier, but not much with those, and there were some of those cases where you ended up having some sunshine right as you had the raindrops falling, so pretty cool looking stuff, but generally a very warm and dry day across the state. As we look at our SkyCam network, you can see that for sure looking at that. You got the sun starting to move lower in the sky in Huntsville atop Monte Sano, and it's 78 degrees with a dew point of 61 degrees, so it's pretty comfortable up there on top of the mountain overlooking Huntsville. Down in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama, you can see it's pretty quiet on campus with the game happening here fairly soon up in Athens, so not much happening on campus right now, but it's a beautiful day. It's 86 degrees out there, dew point's at 60, so that's not too bad either with a little bit of a breeze out of the north. And moving down to the southern part of the state, Dozier looking very beautiful as well. It's 87 degrees there. And again, the wind is calm at this point, so not too much of a breeze in that part of the state. And then as we move down to the coast, Orange Beach looking great as we look at Perdido Pass. No clouds visible there as we look in that direction. It's 84 degrees there. And the dew point not too bad at 64 degrees. So again, we've had a little bit of an air mass change here behind this front that we've seen come through the last couple of days. All right, so here's what we're watching for the rest of this weekend and the next week. Nice Saturday night, so it's a nice night if you got any sort of plans out there. Tomorrow's going to be pretty nice as well, but it'll just be warm again. We're still going to be a little bit warmer than average, or going to probably bump up our temperature just a little bit tomorrow. A warm start to the week as well. We'll continue to kind of incrementally kind of move those high temps up just a little bit more. The mornings will still be relatively cool, or at least nice, but and mild, but the afternoons will still be kind of hot out there. And then we're going to be watching Tropical Depression 9 to see what it does and how it may impact the southeast coast. Make there a few showers our way, but we don't expect any sort of significant impacts here in Alabama from that. Here's our temperatures right now. We're at 79 degrees in Coleman. That's a cool spot right now, but you got mid to upper 80s across the central part of the state, 87 in Clanton. It's 90 degrees in Selma. It looks like the warm spot is 92 degrees in Andalusia. Forecast lows for tonight, we expect to get down maybe in the upper 50s in the far northwest corner where we've got some of the driest air in place and the coolest temperatures from this afternoon. Generally though, mid 60s, low 60s, pretty common. 62 in Clanton, 65 in Montgomery, maybe upper 60s as you get down to places like Gulf Shores around 68 degrees. Then forecast highs for tomorrow. We expect a similar day, but just a little bit warmer. We expect to get in the mid to upper 80s in the northern part of the state, may hit 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa. A few other places will probably get out into the low 90s, but we expect a little bit more of that, especially in the southern part of the state as we get into the early part of next week. Looking at Futurecast, it's calm out there outside of just a few sprinkles there right across the state line. As we get through the evening, looks like a very calm night. And as we get into tomorrow morning, it will stay that way outside of a few clouds here and there for tomorrow morning. But then we do expect maybe a few scattered or isolated showers, very small in nature, very quick. So even if you do happen to get a sprinkle or two tomorrow afternoon, it won't last that long. And again, the vast majority of the state will be warm and dry. As we move into tomorrow night, same kind of thing, but as we get into Monday, we'll get a little bit more of an easterly flow starting to move in that could start to bring a few more isolated showers around in the eastern and southwestern parts of the state. And again, if you look back off towards the east, you can see this is some of the outer bands of what will become a tropical storm or Hurricane Imelda with this tropical depression that's down there right now. So you're going to start to get some influence from that. Again, the heaviest rain will still be well to the east of here. We're not going to get a lot from this, but it could at least bring a few more showers around our area as we get into the early and middle part of this coming week. And then looking further at the Futurecast, we'll kind of move over this direction here. You can see this. So this is going to be tropical storm and then Hurricane Imelda moving off the southeast coast, off the coast of the Carolinas, near Charleston, Savannah, places like that, the eastern coast of Florida as well. Forecast, everything's kind of lining up to send this away before it actually makes landfall, but there will be significant rainfall impacts along the Carolina coast and the Georgia coast. And again, though, it'll just be sending some showers in our direction occasionally, most likely, and maybe some more cloud cover than we would have otherwise with that in place. But again, not expecting any sort of significant rainfall totals from that. And you can see that looking at the rainfall outlook through this coming Friday. Very small rain amounts, maybe around a tenth of an inch in a few spots. Further towards the coast could get maybe a quarter of an inch, but overall, outside of getting some decent rain in some spots the last several days, we're going to be dry again for the next week or so for the most part. And here's your quick tropical update here. We've got Hurricane Humberto right here. This is a Category 5 hurricane now, but even though it's the much stronger system, we're not worried about it here in the U.S. because it's going to stay well out to sea. However, further to the west, this is Tropical Depression 9, which is still looking fairly disorganized when you look at it on satellite, but it's beginning to get more organized and has a center now, so that's why it's now a tropical depression. Sustained winds at 35 miles per hour. Expect as we get into later on this evening, good chance this will become tropical storm Imelda, and then eventually as it moves further towards the northwest over the next couple of days, we expect it will be at least a low-end hurricane by the time it's kind of sitting and lingering there off the coast of the southeast part of the United States, and then eventually we'll start to kind of turn back off towards the east. So all the models are in good agreement pretty much at this point, pretty good agreement that this is going to be the scenario here. We don't see an actual landfall, but again, we will have pretty significant impacts from rainfall right along the coast there. For sure, that is a pretty certain point at this point. Now looking back at our situation here as we get into the following week, just looking at kind of the long range temperature outlook, don't expect to see any sort of cool fall air coming in quite yet. This is the outlook for kind of the week after next, and you can still see that unfortunately we'll continue to stay a little bit warmer than normal. So maybe a little bit longer for fall lovers get a nice cool front and kind of the first real big cold front coming in for the fall. All right, here's your 7-day forecast for North Alabama. So again, we expect to get into the middle 80s, upper 80s, maybe in a few spots. Very small chance of a shower or two over the next couple of days in North Alabama. Generally a pretty nice forecast. So maybe again a little bit of an elevated chance of some showers as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday with Imelda nearby, or at least getting closer to us, but generally going to still stay pretty calm. And then as we look at South Alabama, again, expect to get in the upper 80s and again, maybe some low 90s in spots as we get into the early part of next week. So still kind of warmer than normal for this time of year. And but generally staying pretty calm and just a few chances of an isolated shower or two, but overall kind of staying fairly the same as we go through the next 7 days. Well, that is your Alabama forecast update for now. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.